care who they are, market, out of the market, I don't care. How does that not become 40 people the next month?
Right, right.
Obviously, you had to have some people to help you get to 20. And now you got 20 more hands on deck, and you came up with 20 more people. What that means is that you did not train.
There's a lot of people that make $1 million a year. It's $1 million a year is not the special part. The special part is the $1 million a year without having to show up to an office every single day, and $1 million a year where we get to keep most of our $1 million. If you're a corporate executive and you're making $1 million, the government's keeping almost half of that.
Correct.
So we get to keep the majority because we're business owners. So what do you think about that, Joe?
Well, you know, the freedom side, that's why I'm here. That's why I invested the time. You know, my whole thought process, I never came here to be a salesman. Now, I totally understood, and this would be beneficial to some of your, up and coming business leaders. You have to understand what season you are in, but you have to make preparation for the season you want to be in. So you got to know, okay, well, right now, this is my personal effort season, right? I've got to move the product because I've got a mortgage to pay and I've got a car note to pay and all of these various things. But in my day-to-day movements, though, I am preparing myself for the harvest of an organization that will allow me to not have to do that. So people misidentify what season they are in. But with that being said, that was always the goal. What I understood, and Daniel, you did this exact same thing in building your business. I understood that I needed to recruit people, attract people into the business that I could train. The way I always saw it, if you could think of it visually, in our industry, we talk about going to people's kitchen table. We go to their house, we give them a presentation. So to me, the way I visualize this, and people should visualize it, is picture yourself, Daniel, you're at the kitchen table, you're sitting there doing a presentation. Now, what your goal should be is to have someone with you. That's so key. Like when I tell you people, $100,000 earners in our company are out sitting down, people talking to them about an opportunity by themselves, and it's just insane, right? Okay, so if I've got a person with me, that means that I can take up one step back from the kitchen table because I'm going to leave that person in place. Then I go to another kitchen table, right? And I'm training another person, right? Then I can leave that person there and I can take another step back from the kitchen table. As I do that over a year or 2 years or 3 years, eventually I can't even see the kitchen table. Because the kitchen tables, here's the thing I tell people, the kitchen tables have to be done. They just don't necessarily have to be done by you. Somebody's got to do it. Now, we're going to have our season to where we are doing it, but we are doing it purposefully. I'm not doing it so this person buys a life insurance policy and gets an investment. If they do that, wonderful, and I'm going to do my best job to try to do that because I'm trying to train this person. But I don't really give a shit if you buy or not. I need to train this person so that I can move. I want to keep moving. I want to keep moving. I want to keep moving. And eventually, if I can get to a place, and today, I consider this place I'm describing 1,000 people, right? 1,000 people. I'm not really saying 1,000 code numbers. And I understand all the terminology and the way people think. But if I can have an event and 1,000 people show up, then I ain't got to come nowhere near a kitchen table ever again for any reason. And I could change my cell phone number and it wouldn't affect my business one iota. See, that's the dream for me. I'm not going to change my cell phone number, but what I'm telling you is that's the thought process. And that's how I started the business, whether that is good times, bad times, I'm going. And you say, well, where are you at, Joe? Well, we can get about 400 people in a room right now. You know what I mean? In my organization, we can get about 400 people in a room. So I can't be like, oh, I'm not going to do Primerica anymore. I'm not looking for people. I'm not going to train anybody. Well, then I can't change my cell phone number with 400 people. I change my cell phone number with 400 people. I'm going to be making 20 grand.
And I think this is the challenge with so many people is they get out of the field way too early. And you said it yourself. I mean, we overestimate where we're really at. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. Even there's regional leaders that think they're somewhere where they're not yet. And it's like, wait a minute, if you don't got 30, 40 people showing up to a meeting and you're not pumping out, $20,000 to $30,000 in production every month, you're really not ready to go to that next level. And so, but I think that ultimately what you just described was duplication. I talk a lot about process. I talk a lot about duplication, and I talk a lot about selling the dream and the vision. And what you described is the duplication part, where everybody misses this. And this is why I believe, Joe, is our total focus is recruit, recruit, recruit. And yes, I want to recruit 1 million people. But what happens is if we're only focused on recruiting, we forget the duplication part. Because we're so focused on getting the next recruit, we forget to actually train the one that we got.
Well, that's big too, because I was listening to a Mike Tuttle disc the other day. And I just got my hands on it at a fast start school. It was literally a CD, right? And he talked about the concept of why do people every month in and month out, do 20 by 20? Well, what'd you do 6 months ago? 20 by 20. What'd you do 6 months before that? 20 by 20. Okay, so help me understand. This is Mike Tuttle talking. So you just recruited 240 people and you're doing the same numbers. What that means is the person doesn't understand how to process people.
Right.
You see, like, I understand we should get more directs. I understand that. I got you. That's going to help hedge your bets in terms of the law of averages and the laws of large numbers. I understand. But it's kind of like in the spiritual world, they call that being a good steward over what God has blessed you with, right? So if the previous month, you just recruited 20 people. I don't care who they are, market, out of the market, I don't care. How does that not become 40 people the next month?
Right.
Obviously, you had to have some people to help you get to 20. And now you got 20 more hands on deck, and you came up with 20 more people. What that means is that you did not train. You did not take the time. Okay, here we go. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put together a list. We're going to send out some text messages. We're going to make some calls together. We're going to invite some people to the op meeting. We're going to go see some people. Now, if that was happening with individuals, a vice president's field trainer, with every single recruit, multiplication would occur. It would have no choice of doing that. But okay, you've got 3 recruits here, and you're not really working with them. You've told them some things to go do, and they're not going to go do those things. They're babies. See, brand new associates in our business are babies. So how long do you leave babies unattended?
Not very long.
I mean, not even 5 minutes. Like, no, not even 5 minutes do you do that. Like when you first have a baby, and the baby's over in the little crib that sits right by the bed. You're waking up every hour like, you okay? You okay? You put your hand, you all right? Right? But we don't do that with brand new associates.
Oh,
and that's why they never grow up to be adults.
Unbelievable. Great stuff, man. I swear we could do this all day long, Joe. This was an incredible podcast, and so much value, so many little nuggets, man. We can't get out of the field so early. We got to make sure that we recruit the right people. We got to make sure that we go find leaders. This is what I got at it today. We got to go find some leaders. We got to go find some people that have the centers of influence, and ultimately we have to duplicate ourselves with other people and understand where we're really at. I always like to ask a couple of last questions, just real quick. First thing that pops in your mind, favorite book?
Mind Power by John 𝐇𝐎𝐿.
Favorite movie?
Unusual Suspects.
Okay. Favorite food?
Something that's Asian.
Ice cream or cake?
Cake.
And the last thing is, do you have a favorite comedian?
Oh, wow. Oh. Dave Chappelle.
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.